Hello, hopefully you can all hear me. My name is Kelly-Walsh. I am the East Midlands' first digital organiser. I have been employed to improve all our digital practices and see how all that digital organising can fit in with our strategic plan, from campaigning and communications to collective bargaining and ultimately retaining our members and gaining new members. This is probably a topic that half of you are probably aware of and want us to do something about it. Maybe half of you are not as familiar about what I'm talking about. So hopefully I'll be able to explain it in this brief presentation. So it's about working smarter. It's not about imposing any changes down from region to branches, but this is part of the reason why we've entered a consultation period. Many of you in the room may be aware that we did a survey recently of our branches to figure out, what current practices are bringing in, what branches want. Some of the interesting statistics for that include 62% of our branches have a Facebook page. Of those that don't, 40% want training to be able to get a Facebook page. 93% of all the branches surveyed were interested in website training, so they could learn how to have a website and what to do with it once they'd had one. 78% requested a template for using surveys, a standardised template so it's easier and they can just sort of fill in their details and move on. 74% wish to sit down with a digital organiser and go through a work plan. This is something that I think a lot of branches want a bit of support with, which was really interesting. And something I'll come on to later, which was almost half, so 48% of all branches surveyed wanted a fully integrated website, which is something which we're offering, which I will come on to later. The main thing is listening to all the various suggestions that have taken place, and I now want to go into some of the specifics of what we're looking to introduce. So I just want to go through some of the examples of the way using sort of new digital practices can both enhance regular communication throughout the year and also representation. And they're really exciting methods that I think I've seen other unions talk about, the training, and I know some branches are already doing. I'm trying to roll it out on sort of a larger scale. And to give some specifics, for example, surveys, like the survey I put out to branches asking for feedback about their digital practices. SurveyMonkey or Survey Gizmo are great ways to be able to communicate with members and get feedback throughout the year, particularly on important issues. So that's something you'd definitely be looking at. Interactive both Facebook groups and Facebook like pages can also be crucial as well. It's a place to be able to put polls up to get people's opinions on the next meeting or a particular issue, for example. It's also a place to be able to share best practice. You could have a Facebook group just for health and safety reps, for example, so they can share best practice across the board and do's and don'ts, rather than having to just wait till you go to conferences every so often. But through Facebook groups with members and a Facebook like page for outward-looking potential members, it allows that dialogue all the time, which I think members expect now much more so, rather than the traditional methods of popping into the office or emailing or attending an AGM, for example. Also looking at improved newsletters. I'm aware that some branches do a fantastic job of sending out newsletters. Some branches struggle to. It's just the way time is allocated. But producing a template for a newsletter, so branches find it much easier to send it off, and doing an electronic version and a printed version, and then getting that mentality. So whenever we do a newsletter, there's that standard format across all levels, for example, which I think is something that really came out in the survey I did from branch members. Texting and WhatsApp groups, again, it's not to say that every branch and it's applicable to send text now instead of emails, but it's looking at those areas where it is useful. For example, when I've organised a community conference, WhatsApp was extremely useful in communicating with members. And I think, whether it's maybe the LGBT SOG that might find it useful, or the young members group or whatever, keeping up to date, asking people what methods of communication suit them can be something that's really beneficial as well. And it's not to mean that this is replacing current methods. It's just to try what works in this branch. We try this. Doesn't work, forget it. If it does work, keep it going. It's not about one size fits all, but it's about looking at these methods and finding out what our members actually would benefit from, or how they would like to be communicated with. And this brings on to almost the most important one, which is websites. I know websites have been discussed, well, certainly as long as I've been here, and branches want that support, and it hasn't been available. Well, now it is. We've now got a funding bid. So if any branch in the East Midlands wants to have a website, it's £150 for the year. We'll pay the rest of the £150, and for that, you get a fully integrated UNISON branch website. And as part of that, you get a full training package initially, you get support packages throughout, you get an image bank, and if someone loses their password, it's all within UNISON's own branding and support, and there's still so much you can do with it. So I'll come on to later, but if you are interested, please sign up. It's a chance to learn more about websites and have one, and if you don't like it at the end of the year, just stop it. But in terms of communication, in terms of having all your branch committee on the website, and you can see that, your name, your picture, your contact detail, it will save so much time, and you can put your news up there. It's a great central location for all the good stuff that your branch is doing. And all part of this, it may seem like, how do we have time to do this, that and the other, but it does free up organisers' time. Imagine if you've got the contact details and a frequently asked questions sheet, so people don't always call up to ask the various different questions, and that's just one example with a website. But also about sharing best practice. As I said, when it is talking to health and safety reps in a private Facebook group, it allows communication on a regular basis without having to necessarily organise a meeting for it. There are absolutely tons of methods for improving communication now. I think everyone watching this will have been either a part of or led a campaign. And as we know, it's sometimes quite difficult to get people to attend and to really make the impact you want. And digital organising doesn't replace the great groundwork that takes place, with the campaign. It's only there to enhance and support it. The example I really wanted to give was the one with Derby City when it was trying to protect teaching assistants' pay. And while we did have a very good ground campaign, we had marches, we had individual activities, but at any stage we always complemented it with an online digital campaign. So, to give you an example, whenever we did a march or whenever we did any activity, lunchtime walkout, we post it on social media, or even the trip down to London. We'd post it on social media, get more people to view what we're doing, and crucially, the media, the local media, and actually were getting in touch with us because we were creating such a great buzz online, which is absolutely fantastic. We produced videos of members telling people what was going on, what to expect coming up. We got a huge reach of people sharing it because it was from the members themselves. We got the Green Party retweeting various things that we were doing. So we really were sort of broadening our campaign and making a huge impact. And some of you might not understand this part, but whenever we did post online, there's occasions that we paid a little bit of money to boost it so more people could see it in the surrounding area. And for example, over 28 days, we spent approximately £168 and were able to reach over 177,228 people in various ways. And that's a huge amount of people that were able to see and be a part of our campaign, even if they didn't come out on the march with us or didn't get involved or didn't sign something. But, some really encouraging statistics there. And certainly the videos as well. When you look at the fact that 80% of all global internet traffic in 2018 will be attributed to video, it's incredibly important that we keep this, that we get ahead of the curve. And when looking at statistics, for example, 90% of people trust peer recommendations and only 14% of people trust adverts, it's important that we get these videos with our members right at the forefront. If you're a teaching assistant or a care worker or a cleaner, if you're listening and watching someone talk in your language, understands your issues, you're much more likely to want to join, get involved and be active. So this is something that I think we really need to look at as a union, and be really exciting to sort of bring forward and work with various branches on producing more video content. Because whether it is you're working on a stall or you're on a march, the fact that you can reach 100, 200 people in that one day, why not post online and maybe get 300, 400, 500 people to see what you're doing? And it look great, and you have more images for your website, for example. And this is something as well, it's not just young people. We want to diversify how we communicate with our members, but the largest demographic, for example, that use Twitter now or signing up for Twitter are grandparents. So it's not saying that, everyone is in one particular area and everyone's in another area. actually the whole of our membership has changed. And you look at changes in the Labour Party, for example, around sort of mass democratisation. So you have people getting involved in different ways than they did before. That changes our members' expectations. And actually, rather than going against it, being part of it and listening to what members want and how they want to be communicated with is really important for us moving forward. You've probably heard enough from me by this point, but there's just sort of training and support packages left. And it's important to emphasise none of this stuff will change overnight. It's about us actually listening as a region, delivering our strategic aims, and part of that is supporting branches with its digital organising. So if you are interested, and for example, you've been listening to me and don't really understand what social media is, the context of social media, then we put on training sessions. So we've got 3 training sessions set up so far throughout the year, but a basic understanding of what social media is, what Facebook is, what Twitter is, and the context that we're working within. And that's on the 15th of February, the 22nd of March, and the 16th of August. So please sign up if you're interested in that. However, also, if you're interested, maybe you use social media now, but you aren't quite sure of how best to utilise it, or you're not sure how to film exactly, or you want to try, just get some more hands-on experience of how you could use digital organising and social media in your branch. We've got one called Beyond the Basics of Social Media, and that's on the 22nd of April. But it's all in the education guide if you're interested in finding out more, so I definitely recommend that. I will be training at regional staff as well, but also the websites that I've said already. If you're interested in getting a website, sign up. We'll go through any questions you might have, but it's a really good bargain. So I recommend doing it for a year at least, and then if you're not interested, don't continue it. But if you are, which I'm sure you will be, just as I say, get in touch with us and sign your name. I'm also keen to do a digital starter pack because I want branches to know what software is available, what we recommend branches to use, not in terms of this is a better way for you to do it, but if you want to use this template, this will be easier to do it, and this would look better for this and that reason. So something looking to put out as a digital starter pack that hopefully we will assist you and make your life a little bit easier. But branches do an amazing job throughout the region, and it's just about us trying to work out how we can make life a bit easier. How can we reach more people? How can we have a better conversation with members throughout the year, not just at certain times? And how can we improve and enhance our sort of campaigning and our representation? So this is what we're trying to do, and as I say, it's worth signing up for it and keeping an eye out throughout the year, because there'll be many more different ideas that will be coming through. And if you have different suggestions, please do get in touch. Be happy to meet up with you and discuss a work plan. Okay, hope that makes sense. Any questions, please get in touch.